Okay, so I sort of collect the peas in the pod. I have about 10 pods, different types, and this is the first pod of peas that I ever got, and I got these over 3 years ago now. These are the ones that are most of the adventures and everything that you've seen on the channel. Anyways, over the years, the pod itself, well, them too, but the pod itself has become very flimsy, let's say. And it's having trouble keeping the peas inside when they're out and about and on adventures and whatnot. So they have a tendency to fall out of the pod. So they went online on eBay and ordered themselves a pod of peas. They won a bid for like $4, which is really cool. $4 pod when these guys used to be like $24 back when they first came out. So the pod was coming out of China, and it took a few weeks to get here, which we weren't in a hurry for. But it finally came today, and we did the opening video. Now, I figured I'd do this video because after like really checking these peas out, I have to say that I'm disappointed in the quality of the peas that they make now compared to how they used to make them over 3 years ago. And I will do a little review type to show you what I mean. Now, these guys are a very bad example to do because they have been any and everywhere the past 3 years, and themselves, they're a little worse for wear. Well, here we have a few pods, and these are 3-year-old pods as well, but they are more mint condition than obviously those guys. I mean, they still have their blushes and everything. The pods are clean, so we will use these guys as an example. Now, comparing the older pods to the new pods, well, this is the new pod that we just got. At first look, you can see that they look a lot fuzzier, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Even the pod looks like it's a lot like fuzzier, where this, it seems more smoother fuzz. The peas themselves, it seems like there's a tighter, smoother pea. The peas themselves are perfectly round. I mean, they're just made really well. The pod that we just got today, well, I mean, if you can look, you can see this one's got an abnormality up here. This one, it's just, the shape is just horrible. He's got he's got a bump right there, and it kind of like recesses a bit, and well, it just seems like the quality of workmanship for these pods of peas has gone down a lot. And I know it's been a few years now, they don't cost as much as they used to, but it seems like the quality of work still shouldn't have gone downhill like that just because the price went down. This is the tag. The tag says USA $8.50, Canada $10.50, and like I said, this was only a $4 pod. So, yeah, another thing that I noticed besides obviously the odd fuzz and misshapen, well, if you look close, and I'll try to focus it, if you look around the mouth, you can see the stitches, like black stitches. I don't know how or why it's like that on all of them, but the older made ones, they don't have that. They're made better, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. And something else, oops, let me focus again. Something else I noticed on these new pods, the new pod, I should say, in an individual pea, if you look at the third pea with the largest smile on the older pods, this guy's a little hard to tell, but it's still there. This guy, this is probably the best example, but the bottom part of the eye is more like a flat, it kind of goes, like, curves up. This one, it curves up into it. This one, the eye itself is different on the third pea than they are on the other two. But on the new pod, the largest smiled pea has eyes the same as the other two, which I thought was weird again too. Just seems like they're cutting corners and doing them all the same, I guess. I don't know, maybe I just got a really bad pod. So, anyways, yeah, the pod itself is just not as thick. You can see, like, an example, like, of this one on top, and this one is just thicker. This one is just so much thinner. I mean, you can tell a noticeable difference when you feel it. So, I mean, this pod right here kind of reminds me already of their pod. Well, theirs is just scrumpy as heck. But either way, they got a new pod, even if it's not the best. Something that they can go off on new adventures with and leave you scrumps home to do what you have to do. So, yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention. Like I said, these were from China. Like you can see on the packaging, it says China Post, which is weird because I have another pod. It's a different kind of pod, and this is made, I want to say this was Japan, but I mean it says China, so I mean it still has the Asian writing on it. So I mean they're not made poor either. So I wouldn't expect, just because they're made in China or Japan, to be a cheap, made item. But then again, I guess everything made in China is cheap anyways. So, anyways, thanks for watching. I guess this has been like a review of the newer peas in the pod made now versus the ones that were made 3 years ago. So, I guess if you're looking to buy a set of peas in the pod now, I just be careful. You probably might get something like this now. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye.